Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Medina and in today's video I'm going to show you 21 things what you should never ever do when traveling to Japan. I think when you are traveling to a new country, it's always a good idea to make some research about the do's and don'ts. Definitely when you are traveling to Japan, it's good to make your homework. But right now I'm going to help you with the list, so let's get into the points and let me show you what not to do. Tip number 1 is don't be noisy and don't bother other people. Japanese people are usually pretty calm, so you're not going to see anyone running around the streets and shouting, and you shouldn't do as well. Also, when you are traveling on public transport, it's important not to talking on your phone because that can be loud and it can bother other people. Mostly Japanese people are just scrolling on their phones or maybe reading or just taking a nap on the way. Also, don't listen loud music on the trains or on the metros because it's also rude, so just follow the lead and keep calm. Tip number 2 is don't rely on English language. I think this can be interesting for many of you, but not many Japanese people is speaking English. Of course, this can make things a little bit harder when you want to get in touch with someone, but this is part of the journey. There are 2 things what you can do. One of them is learn a few Japanese words. Just how to say thank you or hello or goodbye, or maybe just things what you can help you to order in a restaurant. You have to understand that you are traveling somewhere where English is not a native language, so it's kind of natural that not everybody going to speak it. My second advice for you is to have Google Translate. This helped us a lot. In this case, we could, just type in some words and questions and the other one could reply with it, so it's make contact much easier. And also in the restaurants, it was a game changer just to take a screenshot about the menu and figure out that what we can order. But in here, I also have to tell you that Japanese people are very, very helpful. It happened many occasions that we was asking someone on the street about the location, and even though their direction wasn't on that way, they just come with us and walking for 5-10 minutes until we arrive to the place what we were searching for. So I think Japanese kindness is just out of this planet and you won't have any issue on your trip. Tip number 3 is just simply don't break the rules. Japanese people really like to have rules and following them, and this is what you also should do when traveling to Japan. You're going to see signs in many places that what you can or cannot do, and just simply follow them. For example, if you're going to a temple where it's not allowed to take photos, then please just don't do it. You're going to see so many other places where you can do, and in this case, you're not going to be rude. My next advice is that don't keep your shoes on. When traveling to Japan, you're going to realize that in many cases you have to take your shoes off. This has 2 main reasons. One of them is cleanness, of course. If you take off your shoes, you're also going to keep the dirt outside and inside going to be much more cleaner. This habit is coming from the older times when more tatami mats was used in the houses, and these mats wasn't only used for flooring. People were eating on it, they were sleeping on it, so it was crucial to keep it clean. The second reason is that you're showing your respect for someone when you're stepping into their house, and this is the reason why you have to take off your shoes. You're also going to step into places where you're going to see signs, for example in temples or next to shrines where you have to take off your shoes. But for me, it was super interesting to see that only in a shopping center, when you are stepping into a fitting room, you have to take off your shoes. My next tip is for you that don't kill your sushi. Japanese people have many rules how to eat sushi, so right now I will give you a sushi eating 101 to know what not to do. When you're going to grab a sushi, just use your chopstick normally and don't pretend it to be like a sword and you are in Game of Thrones. Don't put your chopsticks into the sushi because it's really impolite. Sushi was created as a one bite, so treat it as it is and just take one maki into your mouth. Don't bite it through, don't cut it as well. Sushi mostly arrives with soy sauce and ginger. When you are putting soy sauce on your sushi, make sure that the fish touches the soy sauce, not the rice, and also don't let your sushi swimming in soy sauce. Don't eat ginger together with your sushi. Ginger is supposed to clean your mouth between the different flavors of sushis, so this is how you have to use it. Take one bite of sushi, eat some ginger after, and you can go to the next flavor. Tip number 6 is don't skip the line. When you enter into Japan, you're going to see that they have a pretty strong waiting culture. This means that, for example, if you want to visit a restaurant, most of the times you cannot book a table in advance. When you want to check out some popular place, you're going to see a big line in front of the door and people are going to wait there for a half hour, 1 hour or even more just to go inside and eat a good food. And this is what you will have to do as well. Also, when you are entering to a restaurant, just don't go inside and sit down anywhere. The polite way is to wait to be seated. Also, when you are traveling on a public transport, you're going to see that Japanese people are going to wait in lines to hop on the metro, and also signs going to show this on the floors, so just follow the lead. Tip number 7, don't step into someone's face. What I want to tell you in here is don't be too friendly and be respect on personal space. This can vary from people to people or from country to country, but usually Japanese people prefer to have bigger space. This means that if you meet with someone, especially for the first time, don't hug them, don't give a high five, don't give a fist pump, or do something like this. Japanese people can be shy and you don't want to scare them away, so just be polite and gentle and you're going to make some friendships. Here is tip number 8 on the list, don't throw away your garbage. I think it's pretty natural that you are not throwing away your garbage in anywhere. But why this is important in Japan? Because in most of the streets you're not going to find any trash can. And even though they don't have, the cities are so clean that is just amazing. So for example, if you are eating a chocolate and you're having the paper, put it in your bag, and when you are returning to your accommodation, you're going to throw it away over there. Also in Japan, they're paying attention to recycling, so check out that what you can throw into which bin and don't put inside anything else what is not allowed. The next point on the list is that don't give tips in Japan. When you're eating out somewhere, you probably get used to it that you're going to give some tip at the end of the meal, but in Japan this is not mandatory, and actually this can be considered a rude thing, so just don't do it. Japanese people think that you're already paying the required amount of money for the service or for the food what you was requesting, so in this case you don't have to give any extra. They're doing their job with pride and they are don't waiting for any kind of tips. Actually, if you're going to give something, probably you're going to get it back, so just avoid the confrontation. Tip number 10 is that don't enter an onsen in a bathing suit. If you are traveling to Japan, you probably want to try out the traditional bath, which is the onsen, and over there you have to be naked. So don't bring your swimming suit because you won't need it. Also, it's good to know that men and women going to be separated. So for example, if you are traveling as a couple, you're not going to be together in an onsen. Also, when you are stepping into a pool, take a shower before, and it's also good to know that you cannot enter an onsen if you're having any kind of tattoos. Please check the website of the places before you go there. Maybe if you just have a small one and you can cover it, then it can be okay, but if you have something bigger, probably you won't be allowed to go in. My next advice is that don't leave your passport at home. When you are traveling inside Japan, always keep your passport with yourself, because with that you can get tax-free shopping. Yeah, I know, this is pretty cool. You can buy any kind of clothes, shoes, electronics, whatever, and you won't have to pay the taxes if you are using your passport. Mostly you can use this option when you are spending above 5,000 yen. Tip number 12 is always have some cash with you when traveling in Japan. This is a very important thing, because even though Japan is very well developed, they are still really relying on cash in many situations. In many restaurants or bars or in museums, for example, you cannot pay by card, so it's crucial to have some cash with you, because in any kind of situation, this is going to save your ass. Tip number 13 is don't go out without Google Maps. I must tell that Google Maps helped us in so many times when we traveled to Japan, and it has also great functions in the country. When you're going to travel by train or any kind of public transport, you're always going to see the exact fare what you will have to pay. Also, when you have to change from one vehicle to another, it's going to show you that in which car to sit to make the quickest change, what I think is awesome. Also, it's good to follow that in which exit you have to go out. It's going to save you so many time because, for example, in Tokyo or in Osaka, you're going to find whole cities under the ground and you can get lost. So just follow the directions on the Google map and in most of the cases, you're gonna be okay. My next advice is that don't afraid to try out any food in Japan. I think Japan is a foodie heaven. There are so many things what you can try, many kind of different flavors what probably you are not used to it on your home country, but they are also not so extreme, so you don't have to be afraid of it that you're going to eat something but is not really good. You have to know that what you're going to get in Japan, everything is very fresh. I love this so much that what you're going to see on your table is probably from the next farm or the fishes was catched in the morning, so you don't have to be afraid of any kind of food poisoning because most probably it's not going to happen. Also in Japan, it's common thing to use raw egg in foods and you also don't have to be afraid of this. Also, tap water is drinkable, so you just can refill your bottle, you don't have to buy it all the time and you are ready to go. Tip number 15 is don't leave your mask at home. I know that during the COVID everyone get used to it, to wearing masks, but actually this was a common thing in Japan also before and also after right now. They don't want to spread viruses and also they have many crowded places, so this is the reason why you're going to see many people wearing masks, for example on public transport, so you can also bring it with yourself and you can also take it on, and with this you can protect yourself and others as well. Tip number 16, don't forget to purchase your Suica card. Suica is the local travel card for public transport. It's very good to have it because in this case you don't have to buy tickets all the time, you just can top up the card with an amount of money and you can use it until you run out and after you can refill it. Suica can be also used as a credit card because most of the vending machines going to accept it, so you can buy a drink with it, and in many occasions even restaurants going to accept it and you can pay with Suica card for the food as well. It's also great that if you purchase it one time, then you can use it in Tokyo, Kyoto and Osaka as well. Point number 17 is to don't forget to play. If you're traveling to Japan, you're going to feel yourself as a kid again. There are so many things that you just can use to have fun in the cities over there. I want to suggest you 4 things. One of them is pachinko, what is the local gambling stuff. And basically I read the rules, but I still don't know that what it was exactly doing, but it was good to try it out. Second things are the UFO catchers, which are basically claw machines. You just drop in some money and you can try to get one of the gifts or toys or snacks what you was checking out for yourself, and you can enjoy the time. In Tokyo and Osaka, you're going to find vending machines with surprise balls. Most of the balls consisting some kind of toys, and they are categorized as anime characters, animals, small household appliances, and so many other things. And you can spend a lot of time just to go look around and try to grab a surprise for yourself. I also suggest you to try out a karaoke bar if you are in Japan. This is a common way to have fun over there. You can get some drinks, sing a few songs and have a great night. Tip number 18 is don't forget to test the vending machines of Japan. It's amazing that how many vending machines you can find in Japan, actually the biggest density in the whole world. There are one vending machine approximately for 30 people in the country, so you can imagine that you can find them on every corner, and not only the cities but in the countryside as well. Most of the vending machines offering you drinks, which can be cold and hot as well, which is super cool. But there are a big variety of vending machines. Some of them you can get cakes, ice cream, cotton candy, frozen food, some kind of dumplings, ramens and many other stuff, so just do your research and try out some of them. Tip number 19, don't forget to be a little bit kawaii. Kawaii actually means a being of cuteness or acting cute, and you can find so many examples for this when you are traveling in Japan. is going to be on cute clothes, but they also going to make fun with the foods or drinks, and I think it's really good to see that how many creativity they can put into these things. You're going to see many cute dogs in clothes and hats and so many other stuff. So just go with the flow and try to be a little bit kawaii yourself as well. Let's create some hilarious photos about yourself. I must tell, this was so much fun and it cost 500 yen. I highly recommend you to try out. Tip number 20 is don't eat and walk in the same time. Walking and eating in the same time is generally looked down in Japan. People don't like it if you are munching your sandwich in a crowd and you are making people slower with this. Maybe you're also going to drop some of the bites, so this is not a polite thing to do. Also, if you are in a market, most probably you're going to see signs just to stop a few steps away from the place where you bought your food, eat it, and after continue your trip. So do this all the time. Just go find a bench, sit down, eat your sandwich or whatever you want to eat, and after continue your trip. The last tip for today, that don't blow your nose in Japan. Okay, I know this sounds weird, especially for those who are coming from Europe or the US, because we are really used to it to blow our nose when needed. But Japanese people don't do because it's considered a rude thing, especially do it in a crowded place. So in many cases they are sniffing until they can be alone and they can blow their nose, or they just simply going out to the bathroom and clean it over there. But of course, if you're going to use their tissue, nobody going to put you into prison, but you have to know that it's not socially accepted. Alright guys, here is the end of today's video. I hope you learned some new things and you're going to be a bit more prepared when traveling to Japan. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel, and we're going to explore new things in the next video. See you later!